What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Couch Coaches Podcast. We got a good one for you guys here today. We're going to talk all things NFL Week 15, injuries, playoff races, who's in, who's out, and just kind of give you guys an update and some outlook on things moving forward. So we're going to get right into it. As you guys can probably tell, I'm by myself again this week. I'm still traveling. Flights got canceled, so I'm not able to make it back to New Jersey quite yet. So I'm doing it solo again this week, but hopefully me and Shane will be back together next week. I want to get right into the biggest thing, guys. The Kansas City Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs. Guys, they've won the division for 9 years in a row, the former AFC champions. They've been in the AFC championship game for years now. And it's weird to think that they won't even be in the playoffs, let alone the championship game, let alone the Super Bowl. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs will not be in the playoffs. And Patrick Mahomes goes down with that injury. Hopefully he can get better by next year. I'm hoping that it's not any career altering and, that he can get back soon. But man, I think it's tough to look at the Chiefs, and the thing I want to talk about is their outlook moving forward, right? You got Kelsey, who's kind of aging out. It seems like, they're kind of past the dynasty stage. But the thing that I think about it, that I think is, I don't want to say Patrick Mahomes' injury is scripted, right? Because it's a terrible injury, and I don't ever want to put injuries in that conversation, but I do think that this just seems to work out really well for the Chiefs in a situation where you're now out of playoff contention. You get to start Gardner Minshew for the rest of the season. There's a good chance that they could lose all of their games. Maybe they'll win a couple, but if they lose out, they're 6-11. They end up with a top 10 pick. The Kansas City Chiefs have a top 10 pick. And then they're just going to come back next year with Patrick Mahomes and just be healthy again. And I think this could not just have worked out better for them. And I think it's just one of those situations where, like, if you're going to miss the playoffs or if you're not going to lose a Super Bowl, like you're not going to win it, now they get a top 10 pick to go out and get a big talent to go help them in their needs. And obviously I think, all that is dependent on how Mahomes comes back, if he's still the same Mahomes that we know and all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a lot of factors that go into that, but I just think it just seems like there's something going on with the NFL trying to keep the Chiefs relevant. And okay, they're going to have a bad season, Mahomes is going to get injured, and then they come back next year, they're going to get a top pick, and they're going to be right back to the same conversation. Chiefs in the playoffs, AFC Championship, Super Bowl, like the whole thing. But with that being said, whatever it pans out to be, the Kansas City Chiefs are not in the playoffs. This is a beautiful thing for someone like myself who is tired of the Chiefs narrative. I'm excited to see somebody else do it. I think if you're Josh Allen, it has to be this year. I mean, the guy who has absolutely dominated you and you have not been able to beat, you beat everybody else except for this guy, is no longer in your way. You need to do it this year. And unfortunately for Josh, there is a team that looms over there in your division that just is getting good. And obviously you guys beat them this weekend, but man, they beat you at your place, you beat them at their place. Anything can happen in the playoffs. It is going to be an interesting situation in the AFC. And if you're Josh Allen, this is the year that you have to get it done. This is the year that you have to get to the Super Bowl. You have to bring it home, because next year, same thing. Division, Patriots aren't going away anytime soon from what it looks, even though I understand, I've been saying this for weeks, I'm not buying the Patriots hype. I know Shane has been on that train. I'm personally not. But you still have to respect what they're doing, and it doesn't look like they're going to go anytime soon. And you just have to say it's your year. The Ravens might not be in the playoffs. The Steelers don't look good. The Jaguars, I'm not buying that hype. I was at the Jags-Jets game, and obviously they looked good, but that's against the Jets. I do not buy what's going on in Jacksonville. I don't think they're that good. I think once they play the Bills, once they play the Texans in Houston, I mean, We saw how that went the first time Houston beat them. Like, I just really don't think that the Jaguars are going to be playoff ready, in my opinion. We'll see. And so I really think if you're the Bills, as long as you don't play in Houston, you have to like your chances this year. You have to say this is our year, because we know Josh Allen can't win in Houston. So as long as that situation doesn't happen, I think if you're Josh Allen and the Bills, this is your year. You're in the perfect situation to do it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, I think we see more and more teams get eliminated so far in the playoffs. And I think the Chiefs obviously being the most surprising one. But I think something that I want to touch on real quick is my New York Giants still finding ways to lose games, which is just amazing at this point in the season. I thought we should have beat the Commanders. Thankfully, we looked horrible again, and we keep losing. Thankfully, the Saints beat the Panthers, which they seem to be losing and forfeiting every single opportunity they have at winning that division and making the playoffs because the Bucs keep losing. And so it's still going to come down to those weak games that we keep talking about. But with the Giants, I mean, they're positioned really well. They play the Raiders at the Raiders, which is the only game that I think can hurt us. I don't think the Giants can win their other two games. So I think if you're a Giants fan, that's the one that matters. And then the world of possibilities. If you have the first overall pick, there's so many opportunities for the New York Giants to go, whether it's drafting at 1, picking Arvell Reese, picking, whatever, picking a corner, picking one of those, Reuben Bain from Miami, picking Caleb Downs, even though I think it's early, picking Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate, whichever one you like better. Like, the opportunities are endless, or trade down. Like, I really need the Giants to get the first overall pick. I think there's too many possibilities. There's no reason to win, and your culture, you're not building anything right now. Like, it doesn't help. The first overall pick is way more important than a couple wins. And so, yeah, we need the Giants to do that. But I just love that teams keep winning in situations where they're ruining their franchise, and teams like the Rams, who have the Falcons pick, teams like the Jets, who have that Colts pick, that's looking really good for the Jets. So I think these playoff races are getting really more interesting for these eliminated teams. It's becoming more and more tight as the season goes on because the teams just keep matching each other. The Bengals, or the Bucs and the Panthers, they're not gaining anything. The NFC West just seems to be amazing. The Eagles seem like they have it, so we don't have to worry about them. But getting on to the last thing that I want to talk about is just the injuries that have been happening. And obviously we talked about Mahomes earlier, but I wanted to talk a little bit just on like why we're seeing an influx of injuries and what the NFL needs to do about this, because obviously these are non-contact injuries, right? We're looking, obviously Mahomes' was a little contact, but we're looking at Devontae Adams with that hamstring, likely done for the year, ruining my fantasy team. We have Micah Parsons with his ACL on a team that is likely going to be competing for a Super Bowl. Puka Nacua, I don't know the whole situation there, but that didn't look good with Puka. He came out for a little bit. Like, all of these superstar players getting injured, all of these key players on teams getting injured. We talked Daniel Jones last week. Like, all these guys are going down with non-contact injuries, with major season-ending, potentially career-altering injuries. And it's like, can the NFL do anything with non-contact? What can you do to really provide a spot and a space where the NFL players can play a game? Because you don't see this many injuries in any other sport. I understand this is a contact sport. I understand that's kind of the nature of the sport, right? But it's just stuff like this. You hate to see those kind of things. And you wonder, what can the NFL do to stop it, right? Because you don't want to change the game so much where, like, I understand protecting quarterbacks, but the roughing the passer, there's so many unbelievable, like, roughing the passer calls that you're just like, how did you call that, right? And so I think it's the same way with these, is like, how can you officiate the game in a way and protect the players without forfeiting the rules of football, tough, hard-nosed, like physical football? How can you keep that without altering too many of the rules and stuff like that by keeping people safe? So I don't know. It's interesting. But the last thing that I really want to talk about is Phillip Rivers and how it brought me back to 2010 with the Chiefs sucking and being eliminated from the playoffs. The Patriots are one of the best teams in football, and Phillip Rivers is the starting quarterback of an NFL team. Now, he didn't surprise anybody and play well, you know what I mean? Like, he did what everyone kind of expected him to do. And obviously, they weren't able to win the game because the Seahawks and Jake Myers might be the best kicker in football. But I think what impressed me the most about Phillip Rivers was just how you could tell that he was out there fighting and that he put it all on the line, knowing that you could tell in his press conference, I think, like knowing that he wasn't in his tip-top shape. Like, he wasn't out there saying, like, I am who I was back in the day. You know, like, he came out and he's like, I love this team. I love this franchise. I want to prove to my kids. And, you know, he's a whole grandfather. Like, that's wild to me. He is a grandfather. We had a grandfather starting quarterback in the NFL. But I think that's the cool thing about the NFL, man, is you get guys that are able to go out there and just prove it for whatever reason. Everyone's got a different why, but he went out there, gave it his all, and, you know, while they didn't get the win at the end of the day, like, he is going to be their quarterback probably the rest of the year, or at least next week. They're rocking with him. And I think that just shows the trust the Colts have in him. I think that shows the trust the teams have in him to just rock with him. And that, you know, they're saying, look, you're our guy for the rest of the year, and whatever happens is going to happen. And, you know, I think everyone, how can you not hate Phillip Rivers? I think everyone's kind of backing him and hoping that he does well. But you just can't really, you know, rely on him to be that guy. But we'll see. Maybe the more weeks he plays, the more he gets fluid, because, you know, we saw a couple times him falling and tripping, and, you know, he's obviously not the same guy he was. But it's definitely really cool to see, and I think it's a really cool story developing over there. And what looked like a promising season for them has turned out to be not as well, which we obviously predicted in the beginning, but obviously not predicting injuries, but we knew they weren't going to, you know, be the team that they were. So anyways, but looking forward to watching Phillip Rivers play as much as we can, man, and just looking forward to some of these divisional games. So let us know down in the comments what you guys think. Let us know some topics you guys want us to talk about. Next week, we're going to be back with Shane, so we're going to get some good videos going for you guys for the holidays. We'll probably do a little Christmas special for you guys, too. So be sure to look forward to that. Probably live stream one of the games or something. So make sure you guys subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified when we go live. And if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button. We appreciate it. It helps. And so appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you next week. Peace.